can't contain me. I'm your worst nightmare. I'll always find a way. You shitheads in one job. Secure, contain, protect. And you can't even do that.
So how many are still alive now?
8 to 9 are still alive. She's not too sure.
New audio of a recorded phone conversation obtained by CNN shows the acting Uvalde police chief was directly told that children were trapped with a gunman and needed rescuing. And still he failed to take direct action to save them.
He's in the class.
CNN has pieced together multiple body cameras and new security footage from inside the school hallway, along with this never-before-heard phone call to show how a failure of leadership allowed 77 minutes to tick by before police killed the gunman. Acting Uvalde Police Chief Mariano Pargas was among the first police officers to enter Robb Elementary on May 24th. The chief of the Uvalde police was on vacation, which left Pargas in charge of the city police. Pargas arrives at 11:36 a.m., just 3 minutes after the gunman fires his first shots. His officers run in ahead of him and make an initial attempt to breach the classroom. They quickly retreat when shots are fired in their direction. CNN has chosen to mute the sound of those gunshots.
Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?
Minutes later, Uvalde School District Police Officer Ruben Ruiz, whose wife is a teacher at Robb Elementary, delivers critical information to Pargas. The shooter is located inside his wife's classroom. Pargas, who was suspended by the city of Uvalde in July and placed on paid leave while they investigate his role as a commanding officer during the shooting, is walking in and out of the hallway, taking cover next to a wall, failing to organize a response. Even when Ruben Ruiz barrels back into the hallway, telling his colleagues that his wife, Eva Morales, called him from inside the room and says she's dying.
Ruben. She said she shot Johnny.
It's Pargas, the acting chief, who comes and removes Ruiz from the hallway.
I don't know if y'all can come here.
As time goes by, the police on the scene can be heard looking to Pargas, asking him for direction. They want to know what the plan is. Pargas tells them he's waiting on the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Are we just waiting for more tech, or what's going on?
At 12:10 p.m., nearly 30 minutes after police first arrived, 10-year-old Khloie Torres, a fourth grader trapped inside the room with the gunman, is on the phone with a 911 dispatcher.
I'm in classroom. What's the classroom number? 1012. 112. 112, yes, ma'am.
What's your name, ma'am?
Khloie Torres, please hurry. There's a lot of dead bodies.
CNN obtained that call and published it with the approval of her parents. When the dispatcher radios the information to the officers, Pargas and other police on scene are immediately informed.
He is in a room full of victims.
Full of victims. Child called 911 saying the room is full of victims. The room is full of victims. Child 911. Child 911 call.
Pargas, who didn't have a radio with him, takes one from a detective and enters the hallway. He tells the men inside.
A child just called if they have victims in there.
But then Pargas steps back. 2 minutes later, he walks out of the hallway and places a phone call directly to the Uvalde dispatcher. CNN has obtained this call.
Okay, in the call that you got in from the one of the students, what did they say?
Okay, Khloie's gonna be, it's gonna be Khloie. She's in room 112, Mariano 112. She's with the 8 to 9 students that are still alive, and then she's on the phone.
So how many are still alive now?
8 to 9 are still alive. She's not too sure.
And how many more?
She's not too sure how many are actually DOA or possibly injured. We're trying to get information that she's
Okay.
The recorded phone call proves for the first time that a senior officer at the scene was directly made aware of the horrors happening inside the classroom. Pargas walks back in the hallway one more time. A few seconds later, the acting police chief turns his back and walks out. In the doorway, Pargas can be seen talking to the Texas Ranger, Christopher Ryan Kindell, who, as CNN has previously reported, is currently suspended and under investigation for failing to organize a response that day. But Pargas doesn't appear to tell him about the 911 information he received. CNN has learned from sources familiar with the investigation that a number of law enforcement officials on scene, including high-ranking officers with the Texas Department of Public Safety, say they did not know about the 911 call. A few minutes later, at 12:20 p.m., Pargas can be seen walking away from the school, away from the hallway where dozens of officers from several law enforcement agencies remain, debating, at times confused and seemingly uncertain about what to do. They wouldn't breach the classroom for another 30 minutes. CNN analysis of a new, never-before-made public angle of the hallway security camera shows that Pargas never steps foot back inside this hallway. In interviews with investigators obtained by CNN, Pargas says he didn't believe he was in charge, and his officers from the Uvalde City Police were there only to assist the school police until the Texas Department of Public Safety took over. The Texas Department of Public Safety, which placed 7 of its officers who were at the scene under further investigation, labeled Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo as the on-scene commander. Arredondo, who was fired in August, maintains he wasn't in charge either. CNN reached Pargas by phone. He said, quote, he would love to defend himself, but he's been told not to speak to the media. Adding, quote, it's not that we're afraid because there's nothing to be afraid of. We did what we could, but the thing is that we've been told that we can't. In interviews with Texas Rangers, he was asked why officers didn't force their way into the classroom sooner, as active shooter training clearly indicates.
The room was extremely dark, and we didn't know where he was, or the kids were standing, they were by him, or not knowing what was behind the doors.
Pargas didn't tell the investigators about his direct call with the dispatcher and claimed he didn't remember hearing radio traffic about the 911 calls.
We knew we had heard all those shots, but we didn't know whether there were kids in there were kids alive, there were kids, we had no idea.
But Pargas did know. He knew Ruben Ruiz's wife called and said she was inside dying, and he knew a child called 911 and said she was in room 112 surrounded by victims. As the acting Uvalde police chief, Mariano Pargas was a commanding officer on scene and could have done something about it.